right. Check to see if we're online. Yes, we are live and alive. Okay. Good to see everybody. And let me make sure we got everything set here. Original sound. Okay, microphone set. Microphone, everything's set. Okay, let's do a little kirtan first, or bhajan, as the case may be. All right, gotta get the guitar. We have some festival days coming up the next week. For those of you who don't know, next week we have, hold on a second, we're in the month of February. For Saturday we have Vishnu Priya Devi and Raghunandan Thakur's appearance. And that's Sunday for all of you in Down Under. And Monday we have Advaitacharya's appearance. Tuesday we have Bijmashtami. I don't know what day it is wherever you are in Australia. Wednesday is Madhvacharya. Thursday is Ramanujacharya. And whew, wow, Viraha's appearance day on the 12th. Wow. And then Lord Nityananda's appearance day on the 14th, and I'm not sure when you're going to have it in Australia. Sometimes it's on the same day, sometimes on a different day. But you'll have it around that time, and we'll be speaking about those particular individuals when we celebrate their day when it's here in the United States. And hopefully by April or so I can travel to Australia and New Zealand, but let's see what Krishna wants. That is up to Krishna and the powers that be in the government. Shri Guru Charana Padma Ilvala Bhakti Sadma Matanmoe Savadana Mate Jahara Prasade Pai Bhavatori Agyaye Krishna Prapti Hare Hare Guru Gapat Mapakya Kichete Kore Yakaya Haranakori Yomaneya Shri Guru Charane Rate Iseyu Kaumagate Vikrasade Puri Sarva Takudan Niloye Dan Mejali Prabhu say Divyan Rene Brakasita Prema Madhya Vite Avajabana Sayate Vete Gaya Charita Shiguru Karuna Sindhu Adamajana Bandhu Lokanath Lokera Jivana Ah Prabhu Kodaya Deya Mure Bhavana Yasku Sutri Bhavana Ya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Samaniti Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Moravani Praja Naiva Shesha Sunyavani Ashachani Satarane Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Vedanta Sivasadi Gauravata Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Punitya Nanda Shri Advaita Vedanta Sivasadi Gauravata Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Ukibo. Okay, Jayom Vishnupad Paramahansa Paracharya also Teta Satishi Shimad, His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanana Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Ananda Koti Vaishnav Vrind Ki Jai, Namacharya Shridharidas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrind Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Syam Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuram Ki Jai Jagannath Swami Ki Jai Yamunamaya Ki Jai Srimati Lassi Devi Ki Jai Samaveda Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious the assembled devotees, all glorious to Shri Guru and Gauranga, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni. So it's good to see everybody again. So we're going to continue with our study of the Sri Caitanya Charitamrta. And as I mentioned in the very beginning, we got a lot of festivals coming up over the next few days. We have Vishnupriya's appearance, Raghunandana Thakur's appearance, Advaitacharya's appearance, Bhishma's appearance. Phew. We have Madhvacharya's appearance, Ramanujacharya's appearance, Lord Varahadev's appearance, Lord Nityananda's appearance. Phew. Wow. And Sri Krishna Madhurya Utsava, which is Narottamadas Thakur's appearance. We have Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur's appearance this month. And wait, actually we have a lot more happening this month that I didn't even notice. We also have on the 5th, we also have Vasant Panchami, which is also Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur's disappearance. Pundarik Vijayani's appearance. That's on Saturday. Oh my God. Raghunath Das Goswami's appearance and Saraswati Puja. Wow. That's all on Saturday, and I don't know when it is in New Zealand and Australia and Fiji. That you'll all have to figure out for yourselves. Okay, so a lot of things happening over the next few days. It's a very auspicious month, February. For many places, and Vrindavan's actually the beginning of spring. Although I wish it was spring here. It's kind of cold with a little snow. So, alright, so Om Ganat Timidanda Shah Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shigurve Namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the lotus feet of my spiritual master's divine grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who so kindly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge while I was blinded in the darkness of ignorance. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Okay, so now we'll go to the Caitanya Charitamrta. We're still on the 22nd chapter of the Madhya Lila, and we probably will finish this chapter today. Probably, I just say probably, because things go slow sometimes when we're giving explanations of different verses. So let's go. Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Sri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Of course, chapter 22 deals with the process of devotional service as was taught to Sanatana Goswami by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Benares, Varanasi. Okay. Hadtad bhavari madhurye shrute diryadu pekshate natra shastram nayuktim cha talabhotpati lakshanam. When an advanced, realized devotee hears about the affairs of the devotees of Vrindavan and the mellows of Shanta Dasha, Sakya Vatsalya Madhurya, that means peaceful, servitude, friendship, parental, and conjugal, he becomes inclined to covet that particular type of devotion. When such covetousness is awakened, one's intelligence no longer depends on the instructions of Shastra, revealed scripture, on logic and argument. So this verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1 to 292, because here what's being referred to is Raga Nuga Bhakti, just to reiterate what we've gone over before. Sadhana Bhakti means practice. First part of practice is just follow the rules and regulations with faith that you're going to get somewhere. And second part of practice is Raganuga, which means you develop attachment for following in the footsteps, not imitation, following the footsteps of some eternal associate of the Lord. Could be Prabhupada. And so when you chant and you follow the rules and regulations, you'll develop an attachment for some particular associate of the Lord. And you'll start to think, I want to be like him or her. Or serve, let's say, serve him or her. Or be like, but not be them. That's impersonalism. And then based on that, you start to follow spontaneously. And you no longer have to worry about all the rules and regulations because automatically you follow them. And you also follow them for another reason, because yad yada charati shreshtas tat tat evetaro janaha. You want to set a good example for other people. You're compassionate. So let's say right now, if I identify with a cow named Bhumi, and we gave that example this morning in class, named Bhumi in the spiritual world, and I want to follow in the hoof steps, not footsteps, but hoof steps, of the cow. And I'm just thinking, want to give Krishna and Radharani milk, because I want to be a cow. Not saying that that's true, but, just as hypothetical. So, how should I act? Should I just go all day long? Moo! No, that's internal. At the same time, if I'm actually advanced, I'm going to be concerned with others. And if I go moo all the time, they're going to think their guru has lost his ever-loving mind. And they will lose faith. So I'm not going to go moo all day long. I'm going to follow strictly because I like doing it, not because I'm attached to rules and regulations, because I like it. What do you mean by strict following? Getting up early in the morning, going to the service, Mangalarti, chanting with the devotees. That's why I'm tired. Chanting with the devotees, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. You like that. I'm doing it because I like it, not just because I want to set an example for everybody. I really don't want to be here, but I'm setting an example. No, you like it. You're enthusiastic about it. And you understand it's very important to set an example. Like if one becomes a guru, it's not that you just forget about setting an example. Like Prabhupada was up at 1 o'clock in the morning. Every morning, maybe 1:30. Okay, 1:30, 1 o'clock. And he was writing his books at 1 o'clock every morning. Prabhupada didn't sleep late, except when he was sick. But Prabhupada never, of course we don't say a pure devotee sleeps, but Prabhupada never stayed up. Prabhupada did stay up for preaching, but Prabhupada never stayed in bed like we do. Because he was setting an example, and because he was spontaneous. He didn't want to waste any time, because one of the qualities of a pure devotee is what? Not wasting any time. Lying in bed, feeling comfortable is a waste of time, Prabhus. Because one should rise up and be enthusiastic. What's that song? Rise and shine and show God your glory, glory. Anyway, so let's go on before I break out into 1,000,001 nonsense songs. Vayantara hiharadvita sadhana vaye sadaka dehe kare shavana kirtana mane nijasira deha karya bhavana ratri dine kare vraje Krishnara Sevana. One executes this Raganuga Bhakti in two ways, external and internal. Now you're going to hear about this. Listen to it very carefully. When self-realized, the advanced devotee externally remains like a neophyte. Let me repeat it. Let me outline it. When self-realized, the advanced devotee externally remains like a neophyte and executes all the Shastric injunctions, especially those concerning hearing and chanting. He may not do all these little tiny rituals and the mudras and all that stuff. Mudras like with the hands, but the basic principles of hearing and chanting. He chants his rounds every day. So that's externally. You can't tell the difference. That's really important. That's a sign of an advanced devotee, that they have good sadhana. And if someone doesn't have good sadhana, I would tend to doubt whether they're actually advanced. Of course, they may be an avadhuta, but I'm not going to criticize them. But I would tend to doubt. But they're certainly not preachers. Preacher must set a good example of sadhana. Because as Prabhupada said, example is more important than precept. Precept means the teaching. Example means example. But here's what happens internally with an advanced devotee. But within his mind, in his original purified self-realized position, he serves Krishna in Vrindavan in this particular way. He serves Krishna 24 hours a day, all day and night. Now what does that mean exactly? You are seeing him or her externally. Okay. She or he is cooking for the deities. She or he is doing deities worship. She or he is preaching. She or he is even doing business. Selling cars or financing cars or something like that. But internally, what they're doing is, let's say if they were a Manjari Gopi, they would be making flowers. Like at the same time you see them doing all their external activities, or chanting or hearing, whatever, then internally they're actually engaged in making flower garlands for Radha and Krishna, or cooking for Radha and Krishna, or assisting Radha and Krishna, or assisting Krishna and herding the cows and calves. Something like that. Or there's all sorts of different activities in the spiritual world too. So internally, there's something else going on, but externally you will not see the difference. If you see the difference, that person is probably not advanced. If you see the difference, that person is crying in ecstasy, and the tears are coming from his eyes like torrents of rain. They spurted on me, spritz me. If you're Lord Caitanya, certain exceptional cases that may be, but generally, someone looks like a good sadhaka. Well, he's chanting his rounds. He must be just a regular devotee like the rest of us. And little do you know, he is dancing with Krishna and Radharani at this particular point. But you just see him eating prasadam. You look at him and you say, he's just eating sweet balls. But actually, he's in the middle of the rasa dance. Simultaneously. Seva sadhaka rupena siddha rupena chatrihi tadvava lipsuna karya vraja lokanu sarata. So in other words, a devotee has two aspects, two bodies: the body of service, the siddha body, the person, the perfect body, like a gopi, a cowherd boy, something like that, or Yashoda Maya's assistant. And then he has the outward body, which is called the sadhaka body, the body that you see with your two little eyes. The advanced devotee who is inclined to spontaneous devotional service should follow the activities of a particular associate of Krishna and Vrindavan. He should execute service externally as a regulative devotee, as well as internally from his self-realized position. Thus he should perform devotional service both externally and internally. This verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-295. Nija Bishta Krishna Preshta Pacheta Lagiya Nirantara Seva Kare Antarmanahana. Actually, the inhabitants of Vrindavan are very dear to Krishna. If one wants to engage in spontaneous loving service, he must follow an inhabitant of Vrindavan and constantly engage in devotional service within the mind. Wow. He must follow an inhabitant. If you're qualified, if you have the adhikar means the qualification. Like, you're not going to study advanced mathematics unless you know A, B, or unless you know 1 and 1 is 2. 2 and 2 is 4. 2 to the second power is 4. 2 to the third power is 8. Unless you know some basic stuff, how are you going to know advanced mathematics? So, but once you know the basic stuff, then you can progress to advanced mathematics. Krishnam smaran janam kashasya prishtam nija samihitam tatat kataratasya sao kuryadvasam brajay sada. A devotee, whoops, went too far. A devotee should always think of Krishna within himself and should choose a very dear devotee who is a servitor of Krishna in Vrindavan. I choose Prabhupada. One should constantly engage in topics about that servitor and his loving relationship with Krishna, and one should live in Vrindavan. If one is physically unable to go to Vrindavan, he should mentally live there. So you just like, somehow or other you're awakened. It's not that you just pick, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who's the Vrindavan associate? For me, you know. No, you have to develop a spontaneous attraction after you get or undergo the initial purification. It's not artificial. So constantly engaged in topics about that servitor. This verse is also found in the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1-294. Dasa Saka Pitradi Prayasiragana Ragamage Nija Nija Vaveraganana. Krishna has many types of devotees. Some are servants, some are friends, some are parents, and some are conjugal lovers. Devotees who are situated in one of these attitudes of spontaneous love according to their choice are considered to be on the path of spontaneous loving service. So we all have a particular main relationship like that. Our sthai bhava. Sthai bhava. You understand? A main taste of a relationship. So, not that you're ready for it now. Most of you got to wait. But at least you can take up servitude. Even though service, or being on the rasa of servitude, may not be your eternal position, but all the different positions in the spiritual world have the aspect of service or servitude. So therefore you should imbibe that aspect in the beginning. And then you work your way up to whatever you are. Whether you're a coward boy, gopi, or a parent of Krishna, or a buddy of Krishna. Nakar hichen mapara chantarupe nang shanti no me nimisho lady hetihi yeshamaham priyatma suthascha Guru Sutrado Daivam Ishtam. My dear mother, Devahuti, this is Lord Kapila speaking, of course. Whoops, I'm going too far again. O emblem of peace, my weapon, the disc of time, never vanquishes those for whom I am very dear, for whom I am the supersoul, son, friend, spiritual master, well-wisher, worshipable deity, and desired goal. Since the devotees are always attached to me, they are never vanquished by the agents of time. It's a good guarantee. This was spoken by Lord Kapila Deva to his mother, Devahuti, and is recorded in the Srimad Bhagavatam 3:25-38. Kapila Deva instructed his mother in the science of Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya means to count, but it actually means an analysis of the material elements coming up to the spiritual elements, and psychologically dealing with all these things, gradually detaching yourself from all the material elements and understanding your spiritual identity. But the importance of Bhakti Yoga is mentioned here. Later, Sankhya Yoga was imitated by atheists whose system was founded by a different Kapila Deva, Rishi Kapila Deva. Different Kapila Deva. Patiputra Sured Bratri Pitrevan Mitravadarim Ye Jayanti Satod Yuktas Tebyo Piha Namo Namaha. Let me offer my respectful obeisances again and again to those who always eagerly meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a husband, son, friend, brother, father, or intimate friend. This is a verse from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu again, 12308. E matakare yeva raganuga bhakti krishnara charanai tannaropajaya priti. If one engages in spontaneous loving service of the Lord, his affection for the lotus feet of Krishna gradually increases. Prityang kurerati bhava ayadvim nama yahaiti vashahana Shri Bhagavan. In the seat of affection there is attachment, goes by two names, Rati and Bhava. The Supreme Personality of Godhead comes under the control of such attachment. Let's see how they translate it here. Rati, Bhava. Bhava is emotion. Rati is attachment, also refers to a specific relationship. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments on this verse. Externally, a devotee performs all the items of devotional service in 9 different ways, beginning with Shravanam and Kirtana. And within his mind, he always thinks of his eternal relationship with Krishna and follows in the footsteps of the devotees of Vrindavan. If one engages himself in the service of Radha and Krishna in this way, he can transcend the regulative principles enjoined in the Shastras, and through his spiritual master, fully engaged in rendering spontaneous love to Krishna. In this way, he attains affection at the lotus feet of Krishna. Krishna actually comes under the control of such spontaneous feelings, and ultimately one can attain association with the Lord. You just read this again, it's such a nice thing. So you engage in Shravanam and Kirtan and think of your eternal relationship with Krishna. You follow the rules and regulations, you transcend them simultaneously, and you can control Krishna by that love. Yahaite pai Krishnara prema sevana eta kahilun avideya vivarana. That by which one can attain loving service to the Lord I have described in detail as the execution of devotional service called abhideya. I think we're getting close to ending the chapter now. Abhideya sadhana bhakti ebe kahilun sanatana sangshepe kahilun vishtara nayaya varnana. My dear Sanatana, I have briefly described the process of devotional service in practice, which is the means for obtaining love of Krishna. It cannot be described broadly. So it sounds like we're ending the chapter pretty soon. Abhideya sadhana bhakti shuneye jana achirat payase Krishna prema dhana. Whoever hears this description of the process of practical devotional service very soon attains shelter at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna in love and affection. So you're getting to the end of the chapter when you have this Shruti Phala. As we mentioned many times before, Phala means fruit, and Shruti, of course, means to hear. So many times at the end of different chapters, you'll have a fruit of hearing that chapter, which is like a benediction, let's be more precise. It's not the literal translation, but it's the functional translation. That means the benediction for reading or hearing or understanding a particular aspect of the Lord's pastimes or instructions, which are contained within a particular chapter of the Bhagavatam or Puranas or Caitanya Caritamrta. So here's a blessing. Anyone who's heard this description of the process of practical devotional service very soon attains shelter at the lotus feet of Krishna in love and affection. So that's your blessing. Everybody wants a blessing. So that's your blessing from having gone through this chapter with us. And here's either the final verse or next to final verse, which the chapters usually end at. Shri Rupa Raghunatha Pade Yara Asha Caitanya Charitamrta Kahi Krishna Dasa. Praying at the lotus feet of Shri Rupa and Shri Raghunath, always desiring their mercy, I, Krishna Das, narrate Shri Caitanya Charitamrta, following in their footsteps. And as they said before, this is the end of the chapter. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to Shri Caitanya Charitamrta, Madhya Lila, chapter 22. So this is the last 169. Let me just write this down for you all. All right, so 1.5, 169. All right. That was today's. And then we start the next chapter. It's exciting. We're actually getting very close to ending the Madhya Lila. And then we go on to the Untitled after that. This is another exciting chapter. It's about Krishna Prema. The past chapter was about Sadhana Bhakti, which includes Vaidhi Bhakti, Bhakti according to the rules and regulations, and Raganuga Bhakti, which includes Bhakti or devotional service spontaneously, specifically. One still follows the rules and regulations externally in their sadhaka body, but internally one is following in the footsteps or a service to an eternal resident of Vrindavan or Srinam Mayapur. So this next chapter is about Krishna Prema, the highest goal or the ultimate goal, and sometimes called love of Godhead, but love in the sense that one is willing to sacrifice anything to please one's beloved, which is quite different from the love in this world, which means that you want your beloved to sacrifice everything to please you. That's the love in this world. If you actually love me. I was just, today I was actually looking at the news, and there's one advertisement for this wedding ring company. I forget the name of the company. I'm not going to give it to you because it's all useless anyway. And it shows love emanating from a diamond. Where they say diamonds are a girl's best friend. Huh? Diamonds are girls' best friends. You know, in other words, you're talking about lust for gold, lust for just being worshipped. You know, because basically, what do we do with the deities? Well, we put jewels on the deities and we decorate them. So sometimes the ladies like to be the deity at home. And so they like to be decorated and want their husband to decorate them. And especially, they have these. So on this particular site, you could order at very good price, a diamond wedding ring, put it together. You can actually do it according to your own desires. You can actually put the stones in different places and design your own wedding ring. And then it shows this girl getting her wedding ring, just like, oh, you've made my day. Everything to me. So who cares about some stupid thing you put on your finger? I mean, just like, what? Someone spent like $10,000, $20,000 on some thing on your finger? I know I'm a sannyasi. I shouldn't be speaking like that. Probably discouraging half of you devotees here. But that's the material definition of love, the wedding ring. Of course, we have rings too, but it's not, that just signifies that you're tied up. But it doesn't mean that someone loves you or worships you, although that's what you would like. Okay, on that happy note, we'll start the chapter before I offend anyone else. The following summary of the 23rd chapter is given by Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur in his Amrita Pravaha Bhasha In this chapter, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu describes the symptoms of emotion and love and the awakening of one's original loving relationship with the Lord, as well as the characteristics of a devotee who has actually attained that stage. He then describes the gradual increase of love of God up to the point of Mahabhava. Mahabhava means great emotion. He then describes the 5 divisions of attraction and how they continue. This is so interesting. He also describes the mellow derived from conjugal love. Mellow means taste, which is the supreme emotion. Conjugal love is divided into 2 categories, Swakiya and Padakiya. Swakiya refers to loving affairs between husband and wife, and Padakiya, looks like someone is trying to, hold on, I'm going to have to disable annotation for people and just erase what they just put there. So you already get the smart person who thinks they can mark up my screen. Anyway, I eliminated it. Parakeya refers to loving affairs between 2 lovers who are not married. There are a number of descriptions in this connection. There's also a description of the 64 transcendental qualities of Krishna and the 25 transcendental qualities of Srimati Radharani. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then describes, hold on a second, those candidates who are eligible to taste the mellows of devotional service. Their fundamental natures and their varieties are also described. This is very esoteric stuff. The Lord also informs Sanatana Goswami about all the confidential paraphernalia of devotional service. He gives a description of Goloka Vrindavan, where the Lord is engaged in the eternal pastimes described in the Hari Vamsha. There's also an opposing description and a favorable description of Kesha Avatar. It means the hair avatar. All these instructions are mentioned here, and you'll get to it when we get to that portion of the chapter. In this way, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu blessed Sanatana Goswami, placing his hand on his head. Thus Sanatana received the power to describe these subjects in books like the Hari Bhakti Vilasa. And of course, in Rupa Goswami's books, I think you have more of these precise instructions given to Sanatana Goswami than in, well, I mean, you do have descriptions in Sanatana Goswami's books, like especially the Brihad Bhagavatamrita and other literatures like that. But Rupa Goswami has actually presented them a little bit more systematically in the Bhakti Rasam Orita Sindhu. So we're going to go on. Going to text 1. Chiralalatam nijagupta vitam swaprema namamritam achyudaraha apamaramyo vitatara gora Krishno janebhyastam aham prapadye. The most munificent Supreme Personality of Godhead known as Gaura Krishna, Lord Chaitanya, distributed to everyone, even the lowest of men, his own confidential treasure in the form of the nectar of love of himself and the holy name, Hare Krishna. This was never given to the people at any time before. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto him. So it was there in the Vedic literatures, but it was never given free of price. Just like devotees, they go out and they distribute books. Devotees go out and give people the holy name, and they don't charge anything for it. In fact, if they charge anything for it, they become contaminated. You can charge for the book, I mean, to pay the printing price, someone gives a donation, that's fine. But we don't charge to explain Krishna consciousness to people. We're happy to do that. Our payment is Krishna's pleasure. We work for Krishna. Jaya Jaya Gaura Chandra Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhaktivinoda. All glories to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Dvaita Acharya, and all glories to the devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Eva Shuna Bhakti Pala Prema Prayojana Yahara Shavanehaya Bhakti Rasa Jnana. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, now hear, O Sanatana, about the result of devotional service, which is love of Godhead, life's ultimate goal. One who hears this description will be enlightened in the transcendental mellows of devotional service. Wow! Krishna Rati Gadahele Prema Bhidana Krishna Bhakti Rasere Sthai Baba Nama. When affection for Krishna becomes deeper, one attains love of God and devotional service. Such a position is called Sthai Bhava, permanent enjoyment of the mellows of devotional service to Krishna. Okay, Sthai Bhava. Bhava means emotions. Sthai means like steady. Okay. In other words, there are different relationships. Let me unpack this. That one can have in a relationship with the Lord. There's the Shantaras, peaceful. God who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Give us this daily pakora. And then there's the dasha, the servitude. Let me be your servant and fan you, Krishna. That's all I want to do all day long. And then the Sakya, Krishna, you're my buddy. How you doing, boy? And then Vasaya, Krishna, I'm so worried about you. You're my little baby, parental. And then finally, there's conjugal. Krishna, let's dance. So anyway, it sounds a little artificial coming from me. So one has an emotion based upon one of those particular relationships, and that's Sthai Bhava is the steady emotion. What's your Sthai Bhava, Prabhu? Well, I have the emotion of a gopi. What's your Sthai Bhava, Prabhu? I have the emotion of a cow. What's your Sthai Bhava? Of course, a cow would be servitude. Then, what's yours? I have the emotion of a tree. That means I'm Shantaras with a little bit of dasha because I had to give something to Krishna, provide shade for the coward boy, so I do serve. I don't just sit there doing nothing. So, anyway, so that's called Sthai Bhava. You remember that? Sthai Bhava, steady. Same thing. Steady emotion. Permanent emotion. And here, such a position is called Sthai Bhava, permanent enjoyment of the mellows of devotional service to Krishna. You know, what is your permanent enjoyment? My permanent enjoyment is I'm a coward boy. And enjoyment of Sakya Ras. Shuddhasattva Visheshatma Prema Suryam Shuv Samyabak Ruchivischita Mashrinya Kritasau Baba Uchate. When devotional service is executed on the transcendental platform of pure goodness, it is like a sun ray of love for Krishna. At such time, devotional service causes the heart to be softened by various tastes, and one is then situated in bhava or emotion. So that's very important, that one has a soft heart. And you know, a symptom of that is that one treats others with a soft heart. Compassion. I was listening to Prabhupada talk this morning. Prabhupada was talking about how Prahlad Maharaj, he watched while Lord Nrsimhadev killed his father. Yes, normally one shouldn't watch when that particular thing happens. But when Lord Nrsimhadev asked him, what would you like for a benediction? Prahlad Maharaj said, I'm not a merchant. I'm not a baniya, not a merchant. However, I am feeling so much compassion, especially for Dad, because he is my father after all. So please forgive him. And Lord Nrsimhadev said, no problem. I will forgive not only him, but 14 generations of your family. And so you don't have anything to worry about. They're all going to become liberated. So that's soft-hearted. If someone attacks you and you don't have this vengefulness, if someone is vengeful, they're not soft-hearted. They're hard-hearted. I want to see you suffer. Look what you did to me. You cut me off when I was driving my car. And now you got a scratch in your car. Ha ha ha. I'm so happy to see that you've been punished. That's not soft-hearted. Soft-hearted means, I pray that Krishna will forgive you. I love you and I want the best for you and I want you to learn the lesson that Krishna is trying to teach you. Okay, so on that soft-hearted note, we went up to 5, 1 to 5 in chapter 23. Let us take some cuestionitos here. hold on a second. I will unmute you all so you can ask questions about sadhana bhakti or Sai Baba, which is the topic we sort of started to cover today. Okay, you're allowed to unmute yourself. You are allowed to raise your hand, and you're allowed to type in your chat window. So who wants to ask a question? Now's your opportunity to ask what you always want to ask, but we're afraid to ask. Nobody has a question. Let's see, give everybody a minute or two. If you want to ask any question, come on. Must be something that's bothering you, something you want to know about Krishna consciousness. If there's no questions, we can end. You wouldn't want that, would you? We can end early. No? Okay.
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Oh, Atmanandani. Okay. Sacramento.
Maharaj, it may sound like a very stupid question, so please, I'm asking for forgiveness. But I was wondering, like, Srila Prabhupada is the like gold standard of being a pure devotee.
Yes.
And so are there like gradations in pure devotee, like Kanishta pure devotees or something like that? Because I was just wondering, how can someone be like so pure to go back to Godhead? I can't imagine.
Well,
Like, I
purity
can't
is
imagine myself like
purity.
being in a very high level that I can return back to Golok the way I'm performing my spiritual sadhana. So that is why.
Well, Krishna will help you. Krishna will help you. I mean, yes, there are Kanishta pure devotees, there are Majjhima pure devotees, and Uttama pure devotees. That is true. But pure devotee means one who has no other motivation other than to please Radha and Krishna. It's simple as like that. And so the point is there any hope for you, is the question. Yes, because Krishna will carry what you lack and preserve what you have. Ananyastintayantavam yejanak paripasate tesham nityavayuktamam yogikshem vahamyam. For those who are dedicated to me, I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. So what happens in the case of many devotees who are not quite 100% is that they can take birth where Krishna's pastimes are taking place in some material universe, and Krishna just gives them this final oomph or push so that they can become completely pure devotees. And then also you have Prabhupada's guarantee that if you follow the process of devotional service, and you will actually, and you remain faithful, Prabhupada will come and take you by the hand, take you back to God. And another point is, if you actually serve uh, Prabhupada and please him by bringing others to Krishna consciousness, Prabhupada sometimes would say, Bhakti Vinod Thakur will personally come and take you by the hand back to Godhead. So it's really not by our own purification. We try our best and let God do the rest. That's all we can do. That's called Ashabandha. Try our best and God will do the rest. So it's a good question. Yes, we should feel unqualified, but try our best. Okay, so here's some text questions.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you. Hare Krishna Gurudev. How can one soften his heart? You associate with those who have a soft heart. You chant Hare Krishna nicely. You avoid bad association. You have nice kirtans. You serve the devotees. You only eat food cooked by devotees, not by anyone else. You avoid bad association. That's how the heart becomes softened. Because the heart is naturally soft, but right now it's steel framed. So you got to melt the steel. What is the difference? Here's another question. What is the difference between Seva Aparada and Vaishnava Aparadas? So Seva Aparada means to offend the whole, Seva Aparada means in your service, like deity worship, uh, then you commit offenses to the deities or to the temple, or you do something, if you're doing some service, you do it in an offensive way. That's Seva Aparada. Of course, there's Dham Aparada too, which means the holy Dham. You commit offenses and you consider the residents of the holy Dham to be ordinary persons. That's also Vaishnava Aparada. So sometimes you have some overlapping. You can be committing Seva Aparada and be doing Vaishnava Aparada, but you can also have Seva Aparada. Let's say you're serving the deities offensively, and that's not Vaishnava Aparada. And sometimes you can have Vaishnava Aparada and not be Seva Aparada. You can go up to a Vaishnava and not properly respect them, not greet them. You kick them. and that's not Seva Aparada because it's not your service to kick. But it's Vaishnava Aparada. Just like Brigamuni, he actually committed offense against Lord Shiva by his words, and he committed offense against Lord Brahma by not properly respecting him. So you can actually commit Vaishnava Aparada by not properly respecting a Vaishnava or a pure devotee or any devotee of the Lord. Someone has to be careful about these things. Okay, here's another one. Christian Rosario. Okay, here's one. Question is, when we advance to a high enough spiritual level of prema, can we control Krishna? Control him how? Control him by your love. Krishna becomes drawn to you. It's not that you think, wow, now I got prema. Now I can control Krishna. All right, Krishna, I would like to have a new car. Okay, Krishna, I would like to get rid of my old wife and a new one, Because when you're in prema, you simply want what Krishna wants. So even if you say control Krishna, but you're controlled by Krishna or by Krishna's desire. So it's a mutual controlling mood. Yeah, it's mutual. You're controlled by Krishna, Krishna's controlled by you, so you're both controlling each other. Actually, sometimes Prabhupada describes it like a competition. Who can please the other one the most? So Krishna's trying to please his devotees are trying to please Krishna, and that's the opposite of mundane love in this world. The mundane love in this world, we're thinking, isn't so-and-so supposed to please me? If you're actually a disciple, you're supposed to please your guru. And in the spiritual world, you're thinking, I just want to please Krishna. He's not supposed to please me. That's ridiculous. No one is supposed to please me. I'm supposed to please Krishna. So it's sort of like a mutual competition as who can please the other one. So Krishna controls you, so you're not going to try to control Krishna that goes against his desires, because Krishna's desires are controlling you, if that makes sense. So it's not like control that we have in this world. But sometimes a devotee, out of compassion, like if Prabhupada was thinking, please save these devotees, Prabhupada gives you blessings. Sometimes we go to the pure devotee and we ask for blessings. Then Krishna becomes controlled by a devotee's blessings, but Krishna wants the devotees to give out blessings. Krishna is pleased with the devotees giving out blessings. All right, so one other person. Mutual competition, loving control. Yes, that's actually good. Keshav, you have your hands up. So what's your question?
Hare Krishna Gurudev, please accept my humble obeisances.
Haribol, good to see you.
Gurudev, so I was talking to somebody and I could not answer this question to this person. So the question was, you were saying that everything is part of Krishna's plan, but at the same time, you're saying that you have the free will. So
right.
In terms of how the free will and Krishna's grand plan, I couldn't answer that. Can you please help me?
Well, Krishna's grand plan is to give you the ability to choose. And you can choose to do something that displeases Krishna. So in that way, it's part of Krishna's plan. Krishna's allowing you to do that, and it's Krishna's plan to allow you to do that, but you're doing something that displeases Krishna, but it's Krishna's plan to allow you to displease him. Does that make sense? Krishna's
makes
plan
sense.
to allow you to please him because he wants you to have free will. He wants you to join him voluntarily, but it's Krishna's plan to give you the ability to not join him, to not connect with him, like that. So Krishna. But also something that happens to us outside of our control, we see that as Krishna's arrangement for us. That's another point. Other people
Yes,
have
Gurdev.
free will, and I'm not responsible for how someone uses his free will. If someone uses his free will to do something bad to me, I don't blame that person. I take it as Krishna's arrangement for me, because I have not done that. So everything sort of works together because Krishna, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, knows how someone's going to choose. Sometimes people think that if Krishna knows everything in the future, if Krishna knows everything in the future, does that mean we don't have free will? No, it doesn't mean that. It means that Krishna knows which way we're going to utilize our free will. There's no contradiction there.
Okay, Gurdev.
So, okay.
Thank you, Gurdev. Thank you, Gurdev.
Here's another one from Jai Radhika. We see devotees fighting with their deities. Wow. How do they do that? They put boxing gloves on the deities? I wouldn't want to fight with my deities. They'd probably kill me. So, if we see immature devotees fighting with the deities, in other words, disagreeing with them or yelling at them, something like that, that's a seva aparada. We should treat the deity, yes, in the friendship in on reverence and worship in reverence. Yeah, you got it right. Intimate bhava develops on the raganuga level. So, yes, and if you see someone doing that, they're not on the raganuga platform. Because, why is that? Because if they're actually in the raganuga platform, they're not going to show it to you. You know, it's completely unacceptable. Why? Because if they showed it to you and you weren't on the raganuga platform, then you would be misled and deviated from your devotional service. So it's a very important principle. If you see someone fighting with their deities, you know, shoo, then that means they're ready for it. I don't fight with my deities. I serve my deities. I'm not on the level of that Brahmin with Shakshi Gopal who convinced Shakshi Gopal to walk all the way across India. You know, if we think we're on that level, or if we let other people think we're on that level, then we're not on a very high level of devotional service, and we're trying to make people aware of how advanced we are, when in fact we are not actually advanced. Good explanation. Okay, we got to end now. It's time. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see everybody tomorrow, same time, same station. All glories to